RBT family, what is the deal? It's your dog Willie Jack, and we are back, baby, back with more NFL action. RBT fam, I tell y'all what, man. I tell y'all what, if ain't one thing, it's another. But guess what? But we here though. We here. We got a lot of football to talk about. Well, you know what? Let me chill out. We don't have a lot of football to talk about. But we've got a lot to talk about regarding the little bit of football that we got left. How's that? There we go. And then here also, man, I tell y'all, I've been going through crazy technical issues this morning. I'm warning y'all now. I can't see the chat in my stream, but I do. I'm going to pull up the chat. From YouTube to try to do my best to try to keep up with it. But yeah, man, when your dog tell you, man, I've been going through it all morning. I've been fighting with technology all morning, y'all. And I'm not gonna lie, man, they trying to win the battle, but they not gonna win the war. Here we go. And you know what, man? Shout out to my dog Chop. Let's go, man. Hey, Chop, your comments are showing up, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not seeing nobody else, man. I don't know. Hey, man, I don't know what's going on this morning, dog. I've been going back and forth with this computer all morning, man. So, or maybe it's fixed then. Chop's message is showing up. Real quick, man. I see it's about 8-9 of y'all in the building, man. A few more y'all drop some in the chat. Let me make sure and see if maybe the chat is connecting now. Because it wasn't earlier. Okay, I see my dog Chop for sure. JP in the building, man. What's going on? Hey, I appreciate you, man. Hey, yeah. Okay, so maybe it's resolved then. Chop and JP, they messages just came through. But I'm gonna keep. I've got this YouTube chat open, so I'm gonna try to do my best to kind of keep pace there. You know what I'm saying? But we'll do what we got to do, man. Y'all know what's going on. We'll do what we got to do. We'll make it work for sure. But of course, divisional round kicked off yesterday, man, with a bang. The Bills and Broncos game, entertaining game for sure. Not the cleanest of games from either side, but definitely an entertaining game. Another game that went to overtime. And you know what's crazy? I feel like how many playoff games went to overtime now? Was that the third? I want to say that was maybe the third game this postseason that went to overtime. I don't know, man. I feel like I guess in the grand scheme, 3 is not a lot. No, it's got to be. I don't know how many playoff runs or playoff years I remember, man, where it feels like we had multiple games going to overtime. Unless I'm tripping and blending the end of the year with the beginning of the playoffs, but feels like we've had a couple. So fantastic games, man. Let me see what's in the building. Hey, my dog Chop in here, he said he's swinging early. He said, we only need the ones that count. Hey, I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at you at all. And then, hold on, let me check this YouTube chat, man. Okay, I do see Sis was in the building. What's going on? She said, good morning to the good people. Mom Dukes is in the building as well. Good morning, Big Nation family. Have a blessed show as always. Appreciate all that. For sure. And then, you know what? If y'all still in here, try to drop a fresh comment in the chat. Let me see if it picks up. Because from Chop and JP down, man, it looks like maybe the chat's syncing again with the YouTube. So hopefully, if not, like I said, man, I'm gonna keep doing my best to try to go back and forth. But man, I'm not gonna lie, we done already took enough time this morning, man. We done did enough for the pleasantries. Let's go ahead and jump into these games, man. So we had 2 games yesterday, of course. Man, we are down to this is the Final Four. No, it ain't. I just lied. It's the Elite 8. Call it what it is. Yesterday we had football, and we had damn good football, man. The Bills traveled to Denver, of course. They lose this game in overtime. We'll get into some of the nitty-gritty details of the game. But before we do, of course, let's go over some of the numbers. Bo Nix victorious in his home playoff debut, I believe, for the second year starter. 26 for 46, 279, 3 touchdowns. Did throw the interception to Dion Walker. He pronounces it different. Dion Walker, big boy from the Bills defensive line. Nix also had 30 yards rushing in this one. Now, big news out of this game, and this is what's so unfortunate, man. Bo Nix ended up breaking a bone in his foot or fracturing a bone in his ankle. And I think they said that it actually occurred on the second play of overtime in last night's game. He's scheduled to have surgery to repair the broken ankle or broken foot on Tuesday. And so he is going to miss. Yeah, I imagine he's going to miss the rest of the postseason. Now, I'm curious to know, and I don't know if any additional stories have came out about Bo Nix and that ankle as far as like a real timeline, because I'm wondering if because the Super Bowl is not going to be till February, like what would be the earliest that somebody could try to come back? Because let's imagine if just play it out. If the Broncos find a way to win next week's AFC Championship game versus either the Patriots or the Texans, we'll find out what that matchup will be after today's games. So after that game, and then we've got that month-long break until Super Bowl weekend. And they keep pushing Super Bowl weekend further and further, into February. I think this year, Super Bowl is going to be, I believe it's going to be that second Sunday of February, somewhere in there, that second or even third Sunday of February, I believe. And so I wonder, I don't know, man, I wonder if there's any type of way that we could see Bo Nix make a return just to play in the big game. Now, I say that because we've seen it a couple times before. I think most notably, especially for like my generation, Terrell Owens, man, when the Eagles played in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, T.O. came back off of a broken leg in like 7 weeks, right, to play in that Super Bowl. And I think going into that game, if I remember, like nobody expected him to be a real threat. It was thought that maybe he was going to try to be some style of like distraction or diversion. You know what I mean? But no, T.O. got in that game and clowned. You know what I mean? On that broke leg, was unguardable. I think he went. See, this is why I say I should look this type of stuff. I want to say he had like 9 catches for like $120. I want to say went crazy, right? On like 7 weeks, 6-7 weeks off of a broken leg, and then also even going back further than that, my Steelers. But Rod Woodson, I remember. Well, no, that was still different. Rod Woodson, I think, tore a knee in the early part of the 95 season with the Steelers. And then when the Steelers played the Cowboys, I believe that was 95, when the Steelers played the Cowboys in that year's Super Bowl, Rod Woodson came back and was able to play in that Super Bowl. But I know he missed the greater part of the year. T.O. was out for like a month and a half. I want to say it was like 6 weeks. I don't think it was a full 8 weeks. I think it was closer to like 6 weeks, and he came back off a broken leg. And now he's also running, cutting, juking, and jiving, right? So with Bo Nix, I'm wondering, the surgery is going to happen on Tuesday. And like I said, I don't know if there's been any talk about that, but I'm curious to know, man, if he gets through that surgery, he'll have, like I said, from Tuesday till the Super Bowl, maybe that's going to be about 6 weeks. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering, man. Stranger things have happened. You know what I'm saying? If he gets out there with a club on that foot, you know what I'm saying? If Sean Payton, if there's any way, if I'm Bo Nix and there's any way I can play in that game, man, look, put a club on it, boot it. I'm talking about tape so thick, man. I got to wobble to and from the huddle. Don't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if maybe that's something which would still be a slim possibility. But I do wonder if it's gonna be a possibility. My dog Chai said 3 weeks is way too soon. Well, no, but the Super Bowl is not in 3 weeks. Remember, because like after the AFC Championship, it's like a month, ain't it? No, maybe it's not a full month. Because what? AFC Championship weekend is going to be next weekend, right? Which is going to be the 20. Oh, no. Well, if today's the 18th, so that's the 25th. And so the Super Bowl is going to be, is the Super Bowl going to fool around be somewhere right around my birthday? Yeah, right there in kind of mid-December, or excuse me, mid-February, right in there. Matter of fact, hey man, if somebody knows the Super Bowl date, drop it in the chat for me, man. Drop it in the chat, because I'm curious. Sis says she thinks it's the first week of February. You know what? Guess what? Look at that. Yeah, Chad is on the board. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pat myself on the back when I turn this camera off. First week of February is too soon because the first week of February would just be 1 week after the AFC Championship. There's definitely there's 3 to 4 weeks because also remember that's when the Pro Bowl, whatever that's gonna amount to this year or this season. So they do the Pro Bowl in the middle of that. It's a little gap. Okay. February 8th. So it's gonna be 3. Yeah. Okay. Nah, good call. Good call. Good call. I mean, I had to put it out there, man. I got the one. And honestly, it was crazy. I didn't plan to even go there. But when we talked about the ankle, and then they got a chance to make a real run for this Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? If they find a way to pull one out next week, then it got me thinking. You know, it got me to thinking. I was like, we seen T.O. I want to say T.O. had maybe it was about 6 weeks for T.O. on that broke leg. But, yeah, February 8th, that's tough. That's a tough cookie. Damn, Bo Nix. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just now. Let me tell y'all this: if these Broncos find a way to get a berth into this upcoming Super Bowl, and it gets announced that Bo Nix may make some type, just remember where you heard it. That's all I want. All I want is if by some strange twist of fate we hear that Bo Nix has a chance or a shot to suit up for the Super Bowl, just remember, you talked about it here first with your dog RBT. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Shout out to my dog. Hey, shout out to y'all, man. That's why I fool with y'all. This is why I fool with y'all, because y'all know what y'all talking about. Shout out to my dog Chop and Sis in the building. I appreciate the assist for sure. But getting back to where we were, unfortunate news for Bo Nix for sure, and that greater Broncos team definitely. And you know what? This is another thing as well, man. Last thing, I'm gonna give us the rest of the numbers, but shout out to Sean Payton. Sean Payton's kind of an a-hole, just you know what I mean. But his acumen as a coach, is specifically on the offensive side of the ball, but his acumen as a coach is hard to question. You know what I mean? So he's shown that he was it was no secret. Bo Nix was his target in that draft 2 years ago, and that was a pretty quarterback heavy draft, one of the better quarterback drafts we've seen probably since that. I mean, in a while, man. That 04 draft that had Big Ben, Phil Rivers, and Eli Manning. You know what I mean? So it's shaping up to be like a bigger draft, kind of in that vein. Or even more recently, forgive me, I'm tripping. Lamar, Patty, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? I think they all were in the same class. So 2 years ago's draft was deep in that way. And Bo Nix by and large, Bo Nix was towards the bottom of that group. But he was the target for Sean Payton all along. It wasn't a secret. Everybody knew. And he stuck to his guns. He went and got him. Bo Nix, for a lot of folks, was probably considered more so like a second round value, which for quarterbacks does mean maybe you come up and get him in the bottom of the first. But yeah, Sean stayed there, took him at pick 12, made him the guy out the gate, knows what he was looking for. And it's bearing fruit. We see what happened. In his second year, they were the number 1 seed. Just won a tough divisional game at home in overtime. He made some big time throws in that game. You know what I mean? He made some big time throws in that game. And so it's unfortunate to see, it looks like his season may have ended, man, with that victory. But Marvin Mims also shined in this one, 8 for 93 and a touchdown. LaJordan Humphrey had 33 yards and a touchdown in this one as well. And then also third touchdown of the day, or one of the 3 touchdowns from Bo Nix. That wasn't the right order. But backup offensive tackle Frank Crum, man. We got a big man touchdown, 7-yard touchdown reception on the tackle eligible. Shout out to him. It's always fun to see the big guys get some love and get a score there. Then, of course, on the other side, Big Josh and the Bills, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 fumbles, 66 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then 66 yards rushing, and did lose an additional 2 fumbles. James Cook as well, 24 carries for 117 yards, also lost a fumble in this game. Dalton Kincaid added in 80 yards and a touchdown catch. Keon Coleman and Mikael Hardeman also had touchdown receptions in this game for the Bills. And so right out the gate, the first thing I would say about the game is, well, for one, shout out to the Broncos, man. Kudos and shout out to the Broncos for Just doing what they've been doing all year, man. Just doing what they've been doing all year. Playing pretty stout defense and definitely capitalizing on mistakes and opportunities, right? And they have shown that they are able to show up and make plays in some of these bigger moments for sure. Now, definitely for the Bills side, it was a sloppy game for the Bills, man. Flat out. This is a 4 turnover day. Hell no. Look who then brought their ass from underneath their rock. Man, look, you interrupted my whole little monologue I been going to. Look at my dog Hoppy in the building. Man, I can't believe they let you out that cave you been in, man. I thought you moved to Kansas yet? What's life like on the other side, man? What's life like on the other side of State Line Road? What's life like on the other side of State Line Road, man? Goodness gracious. Shout out to my dog Happy, for sure. Shout out to my dog Happy. But no, this was definitely a sloppy game, man. 4 turnovers from Josh Allen, right? And here's the thing about it as well is they had the two big turnovers the two big turnovers in the regulation period that resulted in 10 points, which, I mean, like I said, hindsight's always 20/10 and all that good stuff. Maybe this game doesn't go to overtime if Josh and James Cook hold on to the football, right? And so we get 10 points there. James Cook's fumble leads to a touchdown. And then Josh Allen right there before half, sloppy with the ball. He has a fumble that leads to a last-second field goal, 50-yard field goal attempt for the Broncos as they're going to head into overtime. I think the Bills right there before half got greedy, man. They got greedy because it's always beneficial to double dip, so to say. If you're going to receive the opening kickoff at second half, then trying to squeeze some points out of your last possession, that last possession right there going into half and then getting the ball right back, that can oftentimes be the difference or the dagger in these style of games, and especially, on the road. And I think their eyes just got too big, man. Eyes got too big. Big Josh was sloppy with the ball. They fumble. And then so we get a late, 3-point swing right there, right before half. And those points definitely haunted the Bills for the rest of that game. And then hold on, I see somebody else just got in here as well. Now that I see my dog Hoppy in here. Let's see, who's this right here? Uh-oh. Sergeant K-Man X. What's going on, big dog? Matter of fact, I don't recognize your homeboy. Appreciate you for stopping through for sure. Let me see what you said. Said if a receiver catches the ball inbounds going out of bounds, I guess it's a catch immediately because he touched the out of bounds. No, because he has to survive the ground. Like, what are we talking about? Maybe you was responding to somebody in the chat, but I imagine that the play you're talking about, if you talk about whether or not he caught the ball inbounds or out of bounds, well, there could be up the right sideline to Brandon Cooks. That's the play that comes to mind when you say that. So I want to say it was like 3rd and 2, and Josh takes a deep shot to Brandon Cooks up the right sideline. He actually makes a fantastic catch. He gets his left foot down. His left knee does come down inbounds as well, following his foot, and one knee equals 2 feet. But before his knee hits the ground, his right forearm hit out of bounds, and it was pretty succinct. I mean, it was pretty succinct, especially like live. I don't think we could differentiate. But of course, we got 4K. We can slow that thing back. We can slow it down. We can play it backwards. We can flip and switch it, do it all the way around. And so they were able to determine that the forearm hit just before the knee. Forearm trumps the knee. You know what I'm saying? Order of operations, and so it's out of bounds instead of in on what otherwise, could have been a fantastic throw and catch. So I imagine that's the play you talking about, right? I imagine that's the one you talk about. If that's not the right one, then drop something else in the chat for me, dog, and let me know what's going on. Then also, man, hey, tell me something about yourself, man. Sergeant K, man, I don't recognize your name. Where you from and who's your team, man? Where you from and who's your team for sure? For sure. Let's see. Okay, you came back. Let's see. He said controversial interception. Oh, okay. He said controversial interception, just using it as a reference. Everyone's saying it's not a pick. Well, the interception, I think, was controversial, but I don't necessarily see the correlation between those two plays. I mean, outside of them both being just very close calls, but I think the circumstances are way different. And so I think it's going to – Okay, so I think you're saying, okay, when is he considered down? So when Brandon Cooks, if Brandon Cooks knee hits before the elbow, then he's down inbounds regardless of the elbow. And on the interception, we jump to the end of the game now, the overtime interception from Jaleel McMillan, I want to say. And so, see, Bill, well, you still in my thought. We was gonna get that. You know what I mean? You gotta let me build it. But it's all good. We where we at. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be where your feet are. Okay, so on the interception. I did want to talk about this, of course, for sure. And then also, man, and maybe that's what it was. I was trying to upload some beam footage. I don't know what's going on, man. Every time I've been trying to, I'll work that out. But I don't have the clip like I wanted to have, of course. But the play he's talking about, the overtime interception on the deep, I'm just going to call it like a deep post because it was in the middle of the field. Deep post shot or seam ball. I can't remember the route. But Jaleel McMillan over. Was that also on Cooks? Was that Cooks or was that Coleman? Keon Coleman. Somebody remind me in the chat. But yeah, no. And that's a good integration point, though. Because I feel like we've seen that call kind of go each way before as well, right? And so guy catches the ball, he comes down, his knees definitely hit the ground, and he actually falls to the ground as well. And so there's a part of me also that was like, okay, well, he's got to be down by contact, right? But Jaleel McClellan, they take him down to the ground, and then, they roll over. He takes the ball away from him as they roll over. Okay, it was Cooks. Okay, there we go. Appreciate you. And then so Jaleel McClain's able to take the ball away or obtain possession as they roll over. But I'm with you, man. I see both sides of that because, like, when does completion of the act of the catch, like, when do they draw the line, right? And so knee down, hip down, body down, elbow down, and we're rolling over, and Jaleel McClellan, I think I'm saying his name right, Janelle McClellan or McClellan, whatever. He's able to strip the ball. And I think in that type of play, I think the argument can be made that, for one, there was continual contact between him and the receiver. And as they're going down, he's assumedly, right, grabbing or making a play for the ball as they go down. Now, here's the other thing about it, though, because if they're going to say that the catch was still in question, I don't know if we can say the catch is still in question, but the bigger part of that as well, if you're on the other side of that call, is that, well, the tie goes to the offense anyway. So if they're saying that Brandon Cooks made the catch, he came down and his knees hit the ground with clear possession. So that's phase one for sure. And then we get into the whole football acting, et cetera, et cetera. So he falls down, continues to roll, and I guess they're saying that he never fully got to complete some style of football active maneuver. Then also in the scuffle of them going to the ground, the whole survive the ground rule comes into effect. We've seen that this year, right? We saw that when my Steelers played the Ravens on Isaiah Likely's would-be go-ahead touchdown in the first matchup against the Ravens this season, where he catches the ball, he takes a step and a half, he doesn't get the second foot down before the ball is dislodged. And so we have seen that extended catch process or protocol in play this year, right? And so if we're going to use what happened with the Ravens and Isaiah Likely as, I think, a better baseline, I think that's a better baseline than the sideline catch. But yeah, so if we're going to use that play as a better basis for comparison, then yeah, it's an interception. Because Isaiah Likely caught that ball. He got feet down in the end zone, right? But since he's being contacted during the catch, he's got to finish out that whole maneuver, right? He's got to finish out that whole scenario. So if he just catches that ball uncontacted, right, then I believe it's touchdown. But since the ball was being defensed, there was contact on his body as the ball's being defensed. And so there's not just clear-cut wham, bam, thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just a wham, bam, thank you, man type situation because he was engaged at the time of catch. And so if that Ravens deflection which played out similar to what Bills fans are going to feel like how it played out for Brandon Cooks, right? Man, we failed. We did three different things, right? But we didn't complete the final part of that. And so, like Isaiah Likely, a step and a half, or hell, he might have actually had 2 steps. But I think because he was engaged at time of catch, they said it that the 2 steps didn't constitute the football move. Like he needed those 2 to establish his own. He needed those 2 to establish his own possession, and then from there he needed a football move. So he actually needed 3 acts, and I think that's probably what the determining factor was in the interception. He caught the ball. He went to his knee. He went to his side. He rolled over. So yeah, he made 2 acts, but those acts were still needed to confirm his own possession, and then from there make some type of football move. So or just whatever. Where if that's just roll over on your stomach or just in the play, but he didn't get that, I guess, now 3rd act, right? So between the 2.5 and the 3, Jaleel McKillen takes the ball from him while they roll around on the ground. Is I guess the way I would imagine. But let me see. Oh, I see. Hey, matter of fact, hey man, where my dog Chop at, man? You look quiet, man. We got real football talk going on, man. Where you at? Hold on. But no, hey, shout out to Sergeant Caven, man. He said big Broncos fan. Okay, I got you. Hey, well, I appreciate you, man. You one of them members now, big dog. Man, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we don't ask too much, but hit my like and subscribe button, big dog. You one of them members now. Matter of fact, somebody in the chat say what's up to Sergeant Caven, man. Welcome to the squad, man. You one of them members now, big dog. You one of them members now. Hey, there you go. Hey, you already beat me to the chat. Come on, man. Y'all know what's going on. Yeah, man. Oh, okay, here we go. My dog Chad said, I don't like people arguing that the call was wrong or overcomplicated. Well, Chad, okay, so how'd you come down on the call then, Chad? So you didn't have a problem with the pick at all? It was just clear interception. You was good with it off the bat? Because honestly, when I was watching it, I took a moment because at first I was thinking like, okay, he's got it. He was down by contact, and then it's extra. Because sometimes we will see where a guy's down and whoop-de-whoop, and then there is like a late knocking the ball out of his hands or something like that, but it may be too late. And so on that one, initially, my first thought was, he's going to be down by contact. He catches, his knees hit, and then also he falls to the ground, like his hip, doom, and then it gets stripped rolling. So initially, I thought he was going to be down by contact, and then they reviewed. We could see Jaleel McCullen get his hands in there. You know what I mean? At some point. Now, I think that was still after the knees were on the ground when he starts to make a play for the ball. And so that's why I thought maybe it may be like too late. And then even with him getting his hands in there, if his hands are also in there and his knees are already down, then they fall to the ground, well, then the tie goes to the offense anyway. You know what I mean? We've seen that. So even if they both just fell to the ground and both had their hands on, the tie would go to the offense anyway. And so I thought that it was going to be reviewed and we were going to get some type of call like that. But that ended up not being the case, right? They, like we just said, man, continuation of the act that still got to play out because of all the stuff we just went over. And so it went to Jaleel McMillan. Forgive me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Went to old boy. It went to old boy. That's what I should have just said. Okay, here we go. So you got to survive the ground before it's considered a catch. He didn't do that, and instead the ball ended up in the defensive player's hands without touching the ground. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And I think, and that's essentially kind of what I was saying before, right? When we was talking about how it all had to play out. And so, I think what it was is like, well, when is... Yeah, no, I think we see the same then. Yeah, for sure. See, that's the thing. It's a catch, not a fumble. So it's not down by contact. If contact, it was a tie. They hit the ground, and the cornerback took it away on the ground. The thing is the ball usually incomplete. Okay, well, hold on. So that sounds different than if you're saying that the ball actually came loose. And are you saying that the ball came loose and the Broncos DB recovered it off the ground now? Because if that's the case, then it's an incomplete pass. Because it definitely couldn't have been. I don't think that could have been a fumble then. Because especially if they're arguing that if we're talking about that the catch was never fully I guess, possessed or secured, then it can't be recovered off the ground as a fumble because it at least has to be a catch first if the DB recovered it off the ground. But I don't think he recovered it off the ground. Maybe you meant to say like he recovered it while they were on the ground. Okay, yeah, took it away on the ground. Okay, I don't think he's saying that the ball was on the ground just while they were on the ground. He took it away. I don't know, man. It's dicey. I don't. That one I think is a that's a dicey call, and that's a close call. But I don't think that's the worst call or the most egregious call of the night. Like I don't think that's necessarily a bad call. You know what I mean? Like some calls just don't go your way, or some calls are dicey, or some calls are whatever, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad call. Like I don't think that call was necessarily a bad call. Like a good exception, a good example of what I'm talking about is like, let's say in the first Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl, the pass interference on James Bradbury on Juju Smith-Schuster when he does the reverse pivot wheel route and turns it into a wheel that end up being the game-winning play for the Chiefs, right? So we get a penalty there for the grab, minor or not, for the grab on Bradbury, and it's the same thing. It's like, it's not a bad call. Like, I don't think they made the wrong call, but it is one of those calls which, you know, like it's polarizing. It's dicey in a close moment. It's to the, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, shaving onions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's thin either way. You know what I mean? So one of that, like that style of call, but I don't think it was necessarily a bad call. I don't think it was a bad call at all, though. Yeah. Hey, yeah, there we go, man. Hey, I told you, boy, you one of the members now, big dog. Let's go. But here's the we talking about the small potatoes. I want to know how come we ain't talk about the no call pass interference in the end zone by Riley Moss on Brandon Cooks, because that's the one that's egregious. That's the one that's egregious. And here's the thing about it. Like that's a missed call. That's a missed call, a blown call, an egregious call. That's all the things, right? That's all the things, all the words. That call is that. The interception, I don't have a problem with the interception. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a problem with the interception when I play it out, when I game it out. So I didn't have a problem with that night because I went through everything we talking about now. I went through this last night and I was like, I see what's going on. The no call on Riley Moss in the end zone was egregious. That's atrocious, and that's in regulation, where we should have had ball on the 1 yard line. If you're the Bills, should have had ball on the 1 yard line in the fourth quarter, and maybe that ball game ends with a Josh Allen QB sneak over the left guard, right? But here's the thing: they don't call it. You say what you want, they don't call it. Okay, we get to overtime. I don't want the Riley Moss call not called, and then I don't want to. If we're not going to call the Riley Moss call, we can't call those two in OT. That's what bothered me. Because, like, it's one thing, I wanted to be even across the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be even across the board. If we let that Riley Moss call go, then the two in overtime got to go. We can't pick and choose when we're going to tighten it up now. You know what I mean? Because if I'm the Bills and Riley, if I'm the Bills and Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, okay, well, hey, this is the baseline. This is how we're playing. They let them play. I don't think we didn't have a pass interference call all game. I don't believe we had a pass interference call all game until overtime. Or I don't think so. Not off the top of my head. But that's the one that rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Because the Bills had their chances. Bills had their chances. Bills can't blame nobody but themselves in this one, right? Maybe they got a bad break or two to conclude this game, but they can't blame nobody but themselves. They had 3 terrible turnovers by their 2 best players that led to points, 10 points in regulation in the first half of this game. So the Bills can't blame anybody for themselves. So I wouldn't put this loss on the back of the Bills. Now, did it get a little wild at the end there? Then yeah, for sure. But this game could have been put away. This thing could have been put away for sure. And see, dog, he said, man, and that's what I've got going on, man. And that's what I've been going through all morning. Something's going on. I might have to change platforms. Chop, man, I don't know what's going on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need my dog's Chop's touch. I I can't get the clips, or I got an issue getting these clips to upload. I had a couple. I had that Riley Moss pass interference I wanted to show. I had the two from the Broncos that I wanted to show. And then I think I had that catch the interception. But, I don't know, man. I had to have technical difficulties. I had to push the show back about an hour. You know what I'm saying? Trying to work it out. Like, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the beam footage. Unfortunately. You know what I mean? But, I'm going to have to get that worked out. Because especially the way these games been going, yeah, I got to figure out what's going on, man. Because I know it's going to be something we need to show, we're going to need to see when we come back on Wednesday for sure. He said because they didn't call that, I feel like they should have, because they didn't call that, I feel like they should have called the last one. Do you mean shouldn't have called the last one? I'm assuming you mean shouldn't have called the last one. Because they did call the last one. So when you say they should have, they did call that one. So I think my dog meant because they didn't call the one on Riley, they shouldn't have called the one at the end. And that's all I'm saying, dog. It's gotta be balanced. Like if we're gonna let it be rough, we're gonna let them play, we're gonna let them be handsy. Then once because that game was they let them fly, they let them hit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it was some licks being thrown out there now. You know what I mean? If this was week 3, we'd have probably seen some unsportsmanlike or some helmet to help. We'd have seen some of that, you know what I'm saying? Some of that type of stuff. But no, they let them boys play. And so when the Riley Moss call doesn't get made in the end zone, that means all bets is off, man. Play ball. You know what I'm saying? All bets is off, play ball is what it means from then on. Period. And so you got let them play. Because let's say, now, not to say that the Broncos still may win that game, but man, I don't know, man. You can't give. I don't like them last two, knowing we got that one from Riley that probably took us to overtime. Not getting that call brought it to overtime. So you let that go to get us to overtime, and then we get all the laundry in the last 2 plays of the game. Two of the last 3 plays of the game. We get 2 PIs to march them 50 yards up the field, then we get a field goal to go home. Like that's what bothered me, dog. That's what bothered me. I'm cool with the interception. You know what I mean? Like the Brandon Cooks catch, fractions of a second between the elbow and the knee, that was a good call. Elbow hit just before the knee. That's a good call. You know what I mean? It's all good. Riley Moss was a bad call. It was a miss. But it's like, okay, well, cool. If we letting that go, then let's let it go. You can't come back around and do what you did, though. Hell no. That's where I ain't like, okay, yeah, I figured you did. Yeah, I figured you did, yeah. But now I figured so. But yeah, no, that's the part I didn't like, man. But now here's the thing, though, man. And we're going to go ahead and I guess, man, look, ain't going to be too much going on with that Niners and Seahawks talk, but we'll pull it up. But here's the thing. Jarrett Stidham. Now, I think Sean Payton also, and you know what? I remember when Jarrett Stidham, I think he got drafted out of Auburn. And actually, I think he went to New England. He was going to be like New England's next Jimmy Garoppolo, if I remember right. And so I know like guys like Josh McDaniels, and I think I had heard as well, Sean Payton, there was a time when like there were certain offensive like minds in the league that were pretty high on Stidham. And honestly, Stidham's game is, as crazy as to say, his game or play style is kind of like a poor man's Bo Nix. And so I think because he's got a similar build. They're both pretty solid build. I want to say Jarrett Stidham's like 6'2", 6'3", he's probably like 220. He's athletic, right? And so he's got like a similar build. And so I honestly think, and especially with Sean Payton, because of much like what Sean Payton's been able to do for Bo Nix is, you know, like really put him in position to thrive. Sean Payton's going to draw up. Somebody's going to be open more times than not. You got to be there on time when the guy that I told you is going to be open when he's there. And you got to deliver. So, and that's a lot of what we've seen from Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix threw some darts in this one as well, man. He did. He threaded some needles for sure. But Jarrett Stidham, I think the Broncos, man, I think the Broncos are live. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the Broncos are live. Going into next week. He said, "Do we get Nick Foles 2.0? I don't know if he's gonna pull a full-fledged Nick Foles. I don't know if he's gonna pull a full-fledged Nick Foles. Hey, yeah, my dog Pretty Tony in the building. What's going on, man? He said Nick Foles Jr. I don't know if he's gonna. No, I don't know because I don't think he's gonna slay the dragon, man. That gonna come out the NFC. You know what I mean? Whether it's the Rams or the Seahawks, I don't think he's slaying that dragon, right? Nick Foles, you know what I'm saying? He also, we gotta keep in mind, Nick Foles got to come in for like the last 2-3 weeks of the regular season as well, and then he had that playoff run. Because Carson Wentz, I think he went down in like week 14. And that was really check. Carson Wentz was 2 weeks away from being the MVP of the league, dog. You know what I mean? Like, we forget. Carson Wentz was 2 weeks away from being named the MVP of the league. And then he goes down, scoring a touchdown, diving into the end zone, tears his knee up. Nick Foles comes in and finishes out that season. I think we still had 16 games back then, too. This is like the 2016, 14 Super Bowl, right? Tom and the Eagles, Tom and the Patriots versus the Eagles. But Nick Foles played like 6 weeks. Jarrett Stidham is coming in like AFC Championship. And I think he's only got one snap on the season. He took a knee in victory formation. You know what I'm saying? And so he doesn't necessarily – Nick got to get in there and get his feet wet a little bit. You know what I mean? Jarrett Stidham's going to show up with all the marbles, all the chips on the table. And so it's a little different. I don't know if he's going to pull with old Foles did. But I do think there's a shot because I do think there's a shot for him to perhaps get a victory at home in the AFC Championship versus a Houston Texans team that's inconsistent on offense, right? Nico Collins is I'm pretty sure did anything change on the stats of Nico Collins? I believe he's still out this week with his concussion that he got in the Steelers game. But I could be wrong about that. But I think he may be out. But either way, you know, the offense for the Texans, CJ Stroud in that offense, it's inconsistent. The Broncos ain't going to have no problem, I don't think, with them. But then now on the other side, you know, the Broncos dealing with the Texans defense. And actually, where my dog Tom at? Because did the Broncos, matter of fact, hey, Sergeant Kamen, if you're still in the building, did y'all already play, did y'all play the Texans earlier this year? Or am I tripping? I'm starting to think about it. I want to say, I believe y'all may have played the Texans earlier this year. I think y'all beat the Texans this year. Didn't y'all earlier in the season, or am I tripping? I could be tripping. But either way, I think the Broncos, I can see a world in which the Broncos could still, on the strength of their home field advantage, playing there in that in Mile High with that defense, right? And with Sean Payton. Sean Payton ain't slept since. Sean Payton ain't going to sleep until after this next week's game. Sean Payton left that game, found out the Bo Nix ankle was broke, and he been drawing up and scheming up plays ever since. So I do think the Broncos are going to be viable offensively on the strength of Sean Payton. You know what I mean? I really do think the Broncos offense is going to be viable. That defense is still going to be the defense, and I don't think the Texans offensively don't scare the Broncos, even if they get past the Patriots today. And then on the other side as well, still, same thing, man. That Broncos defense against, you know, a young second-year Drake Maye, much like him and Bo Nix in the same draft class. But I don't think either of those teams, like, I don't count the Broncos out against either of those teams, even without Bo Nix. You see what I'm saying? So I think the Broncos very well still may come out the AFC. Now, can they, like I said, slay whatever dragon comes out the NFC? I don't think so. I think that's too tall an order. Because you have to actually swing a little bit. You have to duke it out with either of those teams. If that's going to be Stafford's Rams or Sam Darnold in that defense and the Seahawks, I don't know if Stidham can keep pace with either of those two teams. But the AFC, I think the Broncos still got a good shot of coming on out that thing. He said, I missed one. I see now. I missed one before I go back to it. He said, Sean is historically good with backup QBs for Taysom Hill, Teddy Pendergrass back in the Saints days. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Sean Payton is going to be a man. He's in full-fledged mad scientist mode. You know what I mean? So I don't have any doubts that he's going to draw up some style of viable offense for Jarrett Stidham and that Broncos team, right? I definitely expect this Broncos team to be viable. And the thing about it, in their building at home, neither of these teams is going to have a big Josh to worry about. Now, young Drake Maye, man, he's got something special going on. But you know, I think Sean Payton can. I think Sean Payton can get through this AFC because Bo Nix, in and of himself, outside of Sean Payton and what he's got going on, you know, he's probably more so akin to some of these other tier 2 style of quarterbacks that y'all love to hate. You know what I mean? Y'all love to hate. He's a bigger, stronger, faster Brock Purdy. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Or similar enough in that vein, right? And so, his losing him at quarterback isn't necessarily the same as losing like some others, I think. But like I said, I definitely think they can still come out that AFC. But yeah, I don't like the thought of Stidham and even Sean Payton in the Super Bowl against anybody coming out the NFC, unless somehow the Bears squeak through. But yeah, then what did he say for going back? He said, okay, yeah, definitely PI on that Moss play. He agrees with us. But the Broncos been raising hell around the league because he got a lot of fags on PI that wasn't probably played a part. Yeah, no, Riley Moss, man, took some lumps. Riley Moss took some lumps this year for sure. He definitely did. He definitely was one of the more penalized players in the league. And we see why, because he's, yeah, I ain't gonna get into all that. But yeah, man, we should shout out to Riley Moss. Okay, I thought so. That's what I was going to say. And so, yeah, I was going to say I believed. Okay, I thought so. Okay, good. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, neither of these teams, I don't think are going to be too tall in order for Denver, even without Bo Nix. And so, I definitely still think Broncos got more than a good shot to still come out this AFC for sure. Definitely. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into it, Miles. Yeah, we're going to get into it for sure. Sergeant came and said he wants to see the Bears versus the Broncos. I bet you do want to see the Bears against the Broncos. You damn sure don't want to see the Rams and the Seahawks. I bet you do want to see the Bears. If we got to choose, I bet you do want to see them Bears. Hell yeah, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna get into the preview as well, man. It was a lot to talk about in that divisional AFC matchup for sure. Real quick on this NFC matchup, man. This one was over before he got a chance to really get started, man. Rashid Shaheed starts this one off with a bang, takes the opening kickoff 95 yards to the crib, and from there, it was all she wrote, man. Seahawks go on to dominate this game. That defense looking impenetrable, just flat out dominant, 41-6. Like they at the office, Sam Darnold and JSN. Sam goes 12 for 17 for 120 yards and a touchdown. JSN has 20 yards. 19 yards receiving, actually, and that long touchdown from Sam Darnold. Kenneth Walker III really paced the day in the running game. The running game and defense just dominated this one. They didn't have to do much else. Kenneth Walker goes for 19 carries for 116 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, and added another 30 receiving. And let me see. And then for the Brock Purdy, that Niners offense, rough day at the offense, man. 140 yards and an interception from Brock Purdy. C-Mac, bottled up on both sides, 35 yards rushing, 39 yards receiving. Just an all-around, one-sided, woodshed, butt whooping. Ain't nothing else to say about it. Ain't really nothing much else to say about it. For sure. Hold on, what'd he say? Hey, you got to tell what that means. KML. I don't know what that means. You got to let me know. KML. You got to let me know what that means, homeboy. You're going to let me know what that means. But getting into the 2 o'clock game today, man, we've got the 5 seed Texans on the road against the 2 seed New England Patriots. And I'm pulling for the young gun, man. I'm pulling for the young gun, young Drizzy, Drake Maye. All right? At the crib. I'm a fan, man. In my mind, in my world, he's my MVP of the season, man. So MVP hopeful. I'm not sure when they're gonna make the announcements between him or if Matt Stafford gets that old man sympathy MVP. We'll see. But for my money, young Drizzy Drake Maye is this year's 2025 NFL MVP, and I want to see him do well, man. I want to see him go out there and show himself well. I'm going with the hometown kid. All right, I'm going with the hometown kid, 23-20, and what's bound to be an absolute tough day at the office, especially defensively. That Texas defense, man. That Texas defense is playing fantastic aggressive football, and it's mainly up front. The front really does a damn lot of the heavy lifting for sure, and then they've got fantastic play in the secondary. They've got a very aggressive, fast flying. They tackle very well in the secondary. Kamari Lassiter, it looks like a baby no neck linebacker, but he's playing corner. You know what I mean? Man got traps like Triple H. All right, all my life. I don't know if y'all grew up watching WWE, WWF, WCW. All my life, I wanted traps like Triple H. I wanted my traps to sit on my ears. Kamari Lassiter looks like that. He plays corner for the Texans. You know what I mean? They got a strong safety at corner. And he is a menace. You know, I think he's like top 3 on their team in tackles. You know what I mean? At corner. And then also you've got a very elite corner on the other side, cover man Derek Stingley Jr. for sure. Outside of JSN, who'd have made that man do the stanky leg a time or two. You know what I mean? And they match up. But outside of that, I mean, he's fantastic. Has some of the best ball skills of any DB in the league for sure. I really like Kalen Bullock. He's turned into a damn nice safety, rail thin, free safety out of USC. He was very raw coming out of USC. I didn't imagine he would turn it on this fast, or I didn't know if he'd get to where he is. But he's a blur, man. He's got legitimate sideline to sideline speed. He's got good ball skills, and he's to be as thin or lean built as he is, he don't mind coming up and thumping either. You know what I mean? So you've got that going. Jalen Petrie in their nickel, another very fat, very feisty, hard-hitting. He's converted from safety to just like just a true traditional nickel, right? And so you got him, but that's secondary special. They've got just a very good mix of coverage and run support, but all of them fly, all of them are aggressive, and they play just good sound defense for sure. And that's thanks in no small part to Demeco Ryan, man. And so what he's done and brought to that defense, returning home. You know what I mean? He's a Texans legend himself from back in my day. But I think this game, I mean, if that Texans defense, if that pass rush is getting home, I mean, then that could be all she wrote. Now, the difference between these Patriots and my Steelers is that, for one, young Drizzy Drake Maye, he's just not a sitting duck in the pocket, right? He can create, he can move, he can buy himself time. And then they also, just offensively, they've just got more. They don't have a lot of talent, which is also a big reason of why I'm such a proponent of Drake Maye being the league's MVP this year, because he's doing it with an older Stephon Diggs coming off of a torn knee, right, at age 32. Keyshawn Butte, who, and I remember him coming out of LSU when they had that run. He was like one of those guys, man. We know all those names, but he was in that run there. But he had some trouble in school, and actually, I want to say, now he ended up getting drafted, but he fell a bit. His time in LSU, I don't even know if he finished on the team or something, but he had some stuff going on coming out of college. Hadn't really done much to make a name for himself in the league outside of this year. And then Mac Hollins, journeyman pass blocker, or journeyman receiver, who's more so like the physical gadget and run support blocking guy, right? That's what he's got. That's what he's got to work with. But now also kudos and credit to Josh McDaniels, because he has found a way to get Drake Maye some options in with that scheme in the offense. And so, like I said, man, it's going to be that's the battle I want to see. How does Drake Maye deal or handle the pressure that's going to be coming from Demeco Ryan in that defense? And then also, is he able to capitalize when those opportunities are there, right? That's going to be the big tale of this game. I'm banking on the young kid, man. I'm banking on the young gun to see if he can to see if he pulls one out at home as well, playing in Foxborough in the playoffs particularly. I mean, that's its own little world, right? It's its own little world. Everybody knows the history of what's going on with these Patriots and that sort of things. We won't get into that, but this is still a very tough place to play. And then also, like I said, man, that Texans offense is wild. It's inconsistent. It really is. I'm still not sure. As far as I know, Nico Collins is out of this game. As far as I know, if he did end up clearing concussion protocol, and somebody wants to drop it in the chat, let me know. But as far as I know, Nico Collins, I'm not expecting him to show up today. And so now we've got the top two receivers for the Texans are rookies. Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, right? Dalton Schultz at tight end is serviceable, but he's not scaring nobody. And then the running game with Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, we'll see when we get there. Woody Marks has shown himself well for sure, right? He's running aggressive, but is he gonna now essentially kind of carry this offense for the Texans on the road in Foxborough? I don't know, man. I don't know. And then shout out to Sergeant K, man. I told you one of the members. He said, yeah, Nico's out. So, yeah, Nico's definitely out. So, I don't necessarily see Woody Marks carrying this load. All right, you know what? I left out Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk did have a big game last week against my Steelers, picking on. Yeah, man, it is what it is. And so now, is Christian Kirk going to repeat that performance? I think that's Christian Kirk's best game in 2 years, right? So is he going to now continue that performance? And especially also with not even the threat of Nico Collins on the field as well. Because Christian Kirk went crazy last week against the number 3 corner for the Steelers. Well, this week, Nico Collins is out. He's not going to get number 3 corner coverage today, right? And so is he going to be able to still do what he did? I don't know, man. And so I think that the Texans offense the defense is going to keep this close regardless. But I'm just not sure if the Texans are going to have enough juice on the offense to I don't know if they're going to get, I don't know if they're going to get to 21. I don't know if they got 3 touchdowns in them, right? I don't know if they got 3 touchdowns in them. And I don't know if CJ Stroud with Christian Kirk as the de facto 1 now, and then the 2 rookies and Higgins and Noel with a decent run game, but without the threat of Nico Collins to kind of keep everybody honest in that regard. Like, I just don't know if offensively, man, if they'll have enough. And I think Drake Maye, Drake Maye, and this Patriots offense at home in their building, I think they might be able to do just enough. I see them walking away from this one with a late field goal to be the difference, and the Patriots holding on and getting this done 23-20. That's kind of what I say. That's kind of how I see this one playing out. No, definitely, dog. Definitely. The Niners, bro, the Niners were the most surprising 12-win team that I could think of. And I think I had talked about it on the show, like, because the last week of the season, we forget. The last week game of the season between the Seahawks and the Niners, that Week 17 matchup in San Francisco, that was for the number 1 seed. That Niners team was a game away in their building from being the number 1 seed with all those injuries. And that's why I had Kyle Shanahan as my coach of the year. Because no coach, like, there were some fantastic coaching jobs this year, right? I went with Kyle Shanahan because no coach faced adversity like he did. Kyle Shanahan lost like 4 All-Pros on his roster. He lost the best stack linebacker in football, Fred Warner, in like week 2. He lost a top 5 edge rusher in Nick Bosa in like week 3. Or maybe it was the other way around. They both were gone, I want to say, within the first month of the season, right? Brandon Ayuk, who you just gave $30 million, who was an All-Pro before as well when he got paid, he never even really showed up. In and out with George Kittle. George Kittle out for the divisional game. Now, I don't think he wasn't going to be a 35-point difference in that game for them, but still, he was in and out. He had missed some time during the year as well, and then he even got re-injured at his advanced age. Now, he's in his early 30s, about 32. He just tore an Achilles. So, I don't know, man. So even his future it's getting dicey for him. Trent Williams, another year older. He's, consistently beat up. I think C-Mac may have had 400 touches this year, coming off of an injury that caused him to miss all of last year. You know what I mean? So, the Niners were definitely just decimated, man. Decimated on both sides of the ball. And they still were a 12-win team that were 1 game away in their building from being a number 1 seed in the league, dog. That's why I had to get Kyle Shanahan my coach of the year. Over Mike McDonald in that same division, right? We see what those Seahawks are doing as the number 1 seed. Over Ben Johnson, what he's done in Chicago with Caleb Williams and getting them into that number 2 seed spot. The epic turnaround there, which can't be overshadowed. Mike Vrabel probably deserves some love for coaching a team that was 3-14 last year to 14-3 in the number 2 seed. They had the number 1 seed for a while, right? Man, there's tons of options, dog. Sean McVay in the Rams, he's always worth a shout out as well. But now I'm missing somebody else critical, dog. I'm missing somebody else real good. Harbaugh. Good Harbaugh. Not funky ass Baltimore Harbaugh, but the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, yeah. Jimbo Harbaugh. Fantastic job. What he did with that Chargers team. Losing 2 all-pro caliber tackles, right, in the same year, right? The rest of that line trash. Your franchise quarterback had a broken hand and he's running for his life all year, and the job that he was able to do. So this year, there were some fantastic coaching performances for sure, but nobody dealt with the adversity that I think Kyle Shanahan did, dog. And that's why I gave him my coach of the year. Killing myself laughing. I got you. I don't know if that's some of y'all Denver slang, man. Killing myself laughing. KML. I appreciate it. KML, boy. If y'all hear me drop a KML, y'all blame Sergeant Kamen, man. Y'all blame Sergeant Kamen if y'all hear me drop a KML on y'all. He said, man, Seattle defense flies to the ball like they playing with 50. Man, that's a fact. Dog. In that game, the Niners, this was painful. Remember when the Niners did a double reverse, double pass? It was a double reverse pass in the Niners, and they couldn't even take the deep shot, so they did a double reverse pass screen and gained a yard. And Tom Brady was like, man, they did all of that and got a yard. He said, man, they could have ran a quarterback sneak and got that yard. I said, oh, Tom is a fool. Tom know he wrong. Tom is wrong. Hey, that's foul. Shout out to T. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now. That's the first piece of commentary I've enjoyed of Tom Brady. Right there in that moment. He said, damn, was that a double reverse, double pass? The deep shot wasn't there. They throw the backdoor screen and gain 1 yard. He said, man, they could have ran a QB sneak. Yeah, the flea flicker reverse screen pass. Like, yeah. But, dog, hey, that was wild, dog. Drake Maye's the 4th most sacked quarterback in the league. He's getting sacked at least 4 times a day. He may be. And I'm with you. I don't doubt it. You know what I mean? I don't doubt it. But then that's the thing as well. He's been finding a way to get through, to fight through a lot of those issues with his own line and cashing in. He also led the league in yards per pass attempt and in completion percentage. You know what I mean? And so it's really been like you can get home to him with the pressure. I think that's why I was talking to you about your dog, Will Campbell. You can get home to him with pressure. He's got a rookie left tackle he was taking some lumps this year. So that's going to be, it could be ugly for sure, but he's shown that, like, if you don't get home, I'm going up top. You know what I mean? And when I go up top, I cash in. And so that's going to be the battle that I can't wait to see for sure. Nah, good call out about my dog. No, I like Higgins, dog. And you know what I know so crazy? And hindsight is what it is. I don't mind being honest, bro. I liked Higgins better than I did Tech McMillan when they were coming into the draft, dog. I had Higgins over Tech McMillan. I didn't like Tech McMillan. I mean, no, I didn't like Tech McMillan's tape on the whole. The highs were high. Like his catch radius, being able to jump and play the ball in the air the way he does. He's got pretty good body control, right? All that stuff is fantastic. There was a lot more film on test tape, man, that I just was not a fan of, man. Just lackadaisical. It was just lazy. You know what I mean? So, and I liked Higgins' tape out of Iowa State. I liked his tape better, man. I had him over Tech in my own personal receiving rankings, man. When it was draft season. Oh yeah, see, I forgot you new here. Yeah, man, your dog get into the draft a little bit, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, your dog get into the draft. Matter of fact, it's draft season for me now. You know what I'm saying? The rest of y'all playing football, it's draft season for you, dog. You know what I mean? I'm just here because I fool with y'all. It's draft season. I should be watching film right now. You feel me? But no, I like Jaden Higgins, man. I liked him a lot coming in. I thought I had him as a first round receiver. And honestly, he was in my top 5, dog. I want to say he was receiver 3 for me. Burden, Golden, and then I think I went Higgins. Then I think I went Tech. And then I liked Noel as no. Kyle Williams. I like Kyle Williams a lot. On the Patriots, he ain't got too much burn yet. He's nice. Matter of fact, yeah, he's nice. He gonna be nice. He nice. And then, yeah, I like Jalen Noel a little bit too. I wasn't as high on Jalen Noel, but I liked him as well. Chop Tripper. He said he liked he liked Noel better than Higgins. Nah, I can't go that far, dog. I ain't gonna. I can't go that. I can't go that far, man. I can't go that far, dog. Nah, man. I can't go that far. Higgins like 6. Higgins got that type of. He's got that build I like, man. He's like 6'3". He's like 210, but he's got wiggle. Like he can wiggle a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I like Higgins. I do. But let me see. Oh, I think I saw a minute ago somebody gave me a score. Did anybody drop a score on this Texans-Panthers game before we get to the Rams? I'm going 23-20 Patriots. I don't know. Somebody dropped the score, man. And man, I'm gonna look real quick. I thought I saw somebody did drop a score. Then we're gonna get into my dog Chops Rams in this Bears game for sure. I could have sworn somebody dropped the score for me. He said he was soft, but just big. Oh man, that feels a little harsh, dog. That feels a little harsh, man. I don't know. Soft feels a little harsh. We'll talk about it, man. Divisional round, Sunday night. This gonna be 1-on-1. Man, I got a feeling we're gonna get some fireworks in this one. The Cardiac Bears in they building. Soldier Field at night on Sunday night with these Cardiac Bears, man. I'm telling you, I don't think ain't nobody safe. Rams gonna go in there. I do have the Rams getting it done, man. I can't place all my faith into them Cardiac Bears and Caleb Williams throwing having 3 first half turnovers and then just banking on them, you know what I mean, coming out and going 4 for 4 in the red zone in the second half. Like that's too tall an order for me that's too tall an order for me, man. That's too tall an order for me. I don't necessarily know if they can dig the hole that they've dug in a lot of these games that they've played in this year and then find a way to climb out in the second half or fourth quarter and then get that cardiac magic going, man, and pull it out. I can't go there. Now, in fairness, I say that, but we did watch the Panthers claw back in that Rams and Panthers wildcard game as well. So the Rams aren't above, you know what I mean? Like, you know, getting drawn back into a fight after they come out with a big lead. And we've seen that the Bears are, you know, there is something to being relatively like comfortable in those moments where you don't bend, you don't break, you can still stay the course. Because going down they were down 3 scores and they building wildcard weekend against Green Bay. What, 20, yeah, because it was 24-3 going into halftime? Was it 24-3? No. Packers miss a field goal that would have made it 24-3, so it ended up being 21-3. But then they come out in the second half and outscore Green Bay 28-6, I believe, in the second half. I don't think the Rams fall into that, man. I don't think Sean McVay and that defense of Chris Shula, I don't think they fall susceptible to that. I do think that this Rams defensive front, this is gonna be a good matchup, man. Because that Bears O-line is pretty solid. I like Darnell Wright a lot. As a matter of fact, my dog Chop, remember about 4 years ago, Darnell Wright was my big draft man crusher, whatever you want to call it, the right tackle from Tennessee, and he's turned into a stud now in Chicago. Honestly, I would have. I don't know, man. I didn't feel great about Penei Sewell being first team All-Pro right tackle this year. Because I'm not sure he performed better than Darnell Wright at right tackle for the Bears this season. I'm not, that's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And like I said, maybe I've got a soft spot for him. Joe Tooney, left guard from the Patriots by way of the Chiefs, now with the Bears. He also was the first team All-Pro at left guard, I want to say as well. So they've got some heavy hitters up front as well on this Bears defensive line. And so now they get to duke it out with Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Byron Young. You know what I mean? And those guys up front. Man, what's the other guy on that D-line I'm missing? He was there first before all those guys. I can't even think of old boy name, man. I liked him. The guy used to line up next to Aaron Donald. But that's gonna be a heavyweight fight, man. That Rams D-line and that Bears O-line. I want to see who's gonna really win this trench battle there. That's going to tell a lot. And then also that Bears secondary. Now, it's not necessarily a lockdown secondary, but they create turnovers. They get their hand on the ball. They led that Bears defense led the league in turnovers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they had 2 of the top 3 interception leaders in the league this year. And Nashawn Wright, I think he normally plays the boundary corner or that back corner. Jalen Johnson, he's made a name for himself. He made himself a lot of money because he's also known for getting his hand on the ball, right? He's got pretty good ball skills. And then Kevin Bayard, man. Kevin Bayard, matter of fact, my dog Chopper here, Kevin Bayard used to be a favorite of ours, man. He was one of the more unheralded, or just like, when he's with the Titans, it felt like he's older than he is as well. I think he's only like 32. And it's crazy because it feels like he's been playing for about 15 years. Feels like he spent 10 years in Tennessee and was an all-pro in half of them, led the league in interceptions 2-3 times, and hardly anybody ever talked about him. But he's on this Chicago team as well. I think he tied for the league in interceptions. Him and Nashawn Wright, I think, both had 6 to lead the NFL, I believe. And I think Jalen Johnson added in 4. And so that secondary is very adept at taking the ball away. And now one thing about Matt Stafford in that Rams offense, they definitely going to air it out. But Stafford, you might have a chance to get your hands on one now. You'll have a chance to get your hands on one. And so that's where I think this Bears defense, and especially playing at home in their building, fired up, all that cardiac Chicago Bears magic and all that good stuff. Right? There's a good, I think they have a more than a good shot, man, of maybe I think they have a chance of getting an extra possession or 2 for Ben Johnson and those Bears, man, and we'll see if that lightning can continue to strike, man. They said it doesn't strike in the same place twice. Lightning has struck 7 times in Chicago, so we'll see if it strikes one more. You know what I mean? So that's going to be what I want to see. But I do imagine that the Rams are going to come out on top of this one. I do think we'll get some back and forth action. I do think it's going to be some pretty decent points scored in this one as well. But I've got the Rams holding on and pulling this out, man. I'm going 30-27 Rams. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. My dog Terrible Tom Walker, holding it down for them funky Houston Texans, letting y'all know that the Texans are still going to the Super Bowl. Shout out to my dog. Boy, we just talked about your Texans. So you tardy to the party. We just talked about your Texans, man. Yeah. Well, I tell you, he not only said it first, he's going to say it last, and then he's going to say it in between. For sure. He said he's going Texans 38, Patriots 20. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. We'll see. 38 points, a lot to score without I was going to say without Nico. But like I said, man, that defense might do all the heavy lifting, man. Like I said, that defense, I can't put nothing past that defense. He's taking his hometown Texans 38-20. 38-20. What I end up having? I think I had 23-20 Patriots is where I went with that one. That's where I went with that one. And then now I ain't gonna lie to you. Now you a little tardy to the party. Now if you got something to say, you better go ahead and pop your talk, man. While we you know what I'm saying, we get into that time where we winding on down. But before we do, and we'll just sit here and talk a little bit for a quick second, because we've got some coaching news, man. The coaching carousel is in full effect. We've got 2 jobs off the market, and this one I called. Now, Harbaugh to the Giants, I called that very here on this show, live in full effect. You can go back and pull the footage. You know what I mean? John Harbaugh agrees to sign with the New York Giants as their next head coach. I think it's going to be a 5-year deal there, as expected. And then Atlanta, who also has done a lot of a full regime change there. Terry Fontenot, the longtime GM, he's out. Raheem Morris, the head coach, out as well. They bring in Matt Ryan as their new president of operations, in charge of football, or president of football operations, whatever that official title is going to be. So longtime quarterback for the Falcons, Matt Ryan, MVP winner, notorious 28-3 collapse in the Super Bowl. That's the very same. He's now the head of football operations for the Falcons. And in his first major act in that role, he goes against Kevin Stefanski from Cleveland. And so hires Stefanski to be the next coach of the Falcons. And, we'll see how that turns out. But 2 of the 4 jobs, 2 of the 6. No, I think we got up to 7 when Mike Tomlin resigned. So 2 of the 7 jobs have been filled. We've got 5 spots left. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland. Goodness gracious. Half the AFC North, or 3/4 of the AFC North. Okay, so all 3 AFC North openings are still open. The Tennessee Titans are still looking for their coach, and the Miami Dolphins. So I think those. Oh no, there is 6 because the Raiders are still needing to replace Pete Carroll. So there's still 6 openings left. 6, okay. So it's gonna be a lot of movement, man. This 2026 season is gonna have a lot of movement, man, in the coaching ranks for sure. My dog Ty said I lost my mind. Hey, man. Hey, at this point, all I need to do is see good football, man. It's draft season. I'm just here for a good time. You know what I mean? I'm just here for a good time, my boy. Yeah, it's draft season. I'm just here for a good time. But like I said, man, we did cover all them games, man. My dog Tom, I wish you could have got in here a little earlier, big dog. We had some good back and forth, man. Matter of fact, I'm checking to make sure there was nothing else of note that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I don't see it, man. So I tell y'all what, if you got something on your mind, better say it now, forever hold your peace. Other than that, man, we're going to go ahead and wind it down. And while y'all thinking about it, y'all know what time it is. We would be remiss if we got out of here without doing one of them real member roll calls, man. Oh, here we go. We're going to start the real member roll call with our newest Real Ball Talk brethren. Sergeant came in, holding it down for them Denver Broncos. I appreciate you. Come on, man. It's Big Steeler Nation, big dog. Yeah, man. It's Big Nation business in the building, man. It's Big Nation, man. Yeah, Steeler Nation. That's my squad, big dog. Yeah, sorry. But shout out to Sergeant Caven, man. He a Broncos fan, man. Jumped to the chat today, man. We had a good time, man. I appreciate it. He got in here. He had something to say, man. He knew a little bit about what he was talking about, man. I appreciate you, homeboy. Hey, you got to tap back in, man. We go twice a week, Sundays and Wednesdays. Sunday, we do a preview. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the games that's going to come up that day. Wednesday, we come back and do a recap. You know what I'm saying? And go over the results, of course, and do all that fun stuff, man. And then, you know, in the midst of doing all that, we go back and forth, man. We have fun kicking, just kicking, you know what I mean? Having a good time talking football. You know what I mean? That's all that is. And now here's the thing, though, Tom. The Broncos did lose their QB, but Sean Payton ain't worried. Sean Payton already beat your Texans. He ain't scared of Drake Maye and the Patriots in his building with that defense. I think that the Broncos still are a live dog in the AFC. Don't sleep on them, Tom. Don't sleep on them, dog. If y'all get past them Patriots, do not sleep on these Broncos. Broncos still live dog in the AFC. I don't like them against anybody left who's going to come out the NFC, whether it be the Seahawks or the Rams. I don't like them in that matchup. But Broncos can come out that AFC now. I think they still a live dog. But yeah, no, for sure, man. Shout out to my dog, Sergeant K, man, holding up them Broncos. You one of them members, big dog. Of course, my dog, Terrible Tom Walker, holding it down for them Houston Texans. Letting y'all know that the Texans going to the Super Bowl. I want to let y'all know as well. Tom been letting y'all know that the Texans going to the Super Bowl for about 6 years now, man. All right? For about 6 years, Tom been letting y'all know every day that we get on camera that the Texans is going to the Super Bowl across 2 platforms. You know what I'm saying? Them Texans been going to the Super Bowl, man. Shout out to my dog, Tom Walker, boy. Let me see who else is in this building today, man. My dog, man, my brother, my brethren. Chop in the building, man. I appreciate you as always, man. My homeboy, my partner, Pretty Tony the Painter. That's Prospect and Precision Painting across all social platforms, man. Tap in with my dog, painting, little drywall restoration. You know what I'm saying? You name it, I'm sure he can figure out a way how to do it. Tap in with my dog, man. That's Prospect and Precision Paint on all social media platforms as well. Let me see who else is in the building. I'm looking for y'all. Y'all know what time it is. I'm looking for y'all. I got to scroll up a little bit. We got to talking. I know I saw my dog Hoppy in here earlier. He came from under his rock. Let's go. Shout out to my dog Hoppy in the building, man. I appreciate your homeboy. Let's see. Sis was in the building, of course. I appreciate you, JP, in the building as well. I appreciate you. Mondoose, I know you was in the building as well. Like I said, I had some earlier problems with the chat. The chat streams wasn't going through, but shout out to Mondoose as well. And the rest of y'all say the same thing every week. So feel free to say it with me at home. If I forgot to say your name, Damn. My bad. But charge it to my head and don't charge it to my heart. You know I'm thinking about you, big dog. Appreciate all the love and support as always, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in the chat, giving me some fun conversation. If it wasn't for y'all, I'd just be on camera talking to myself. So I appreciate y'all chopping it up with your dog. We got some damn good games to look forward to today for sure. I definitely expect fireworks, and both of them, man, it's going to give us a lot to talk about for sure. Somebody jumped in with a last minute comment. What we got? Oh, okay, I got you. My dog Thomas, make sure you know that he's holding down for those Houston Texans. But other than that, man, y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Enjoy your football Sunday until Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Tap back in with your dog, man. We'll have fun. We'll have a good time as always. Peace.